start this episode with a truth that might hit a little deeper than usual. The life you say you want, the business you dream about, the freedom, the impact, the income, the time with your family. You don't get that life by doing more. You get that life by becoming someone different. And I don't mean changing who you are at your core. I mean stepping into a version of you that most people are unwilling to become. Because what I found both in my own life and working with hundreds of business owners is this. Your dream life isn't built through strategies, it's built through leadership. And not just leadership of a team, leadership of your standards, your mindset, your energy, and your decisions. I'm your host, Shayla Wey. I'm a small business coach, leadership strategist, and someone who truly believes that building a business should help you build a life you love, not take over the one you already have. So in today's episode, I want to walk you through the leader you must become if you actually want to build your dream life personally and professionally. And I want this to come from a place of not this is what you should do, but more from a place that this is what I've just found to be true from my many conversations of lots of leaders over the past few decades. And so if you stay with me through this episode, you're going to see exactly where you might be holding yourself back, not because you're not capable, but because you haven't stepped into that version of you yet. So let's jump in. Well, the first piece of this is the identity shift. And what I found is that most people try to build a dream life while staying the same person. And it just doesn't work. We want different results, but we keep the same habits, the same thinking, the same emotional reactions, the same tolerance levels. And one of the most powerful concepts that really shaped this for me is the idea of identity-based habits, is how real change is going to happen when you stop focusing on outcomes and really start focusing on who you are becoming. And do the habits that you currently have, are they in alignment with the identity that you're working towards? And so what I found in business and life is this, is that your current identity created your current results. Your next level requires a new identity, not a better to-do list, not more hustle, a different version of you. The leader who raises their standards. This is the second piece. The first leader that you have to become is someone who raises their standards, not occasionally and not when you feel motivated, but consistently. And what I've seen is that your life is a reflection of what you tolerate, the conversations you avoid, the clients you settle for, the way you manage your time, the excuses you allow, all of it becomes your reality. And so when I started dreaming bigger, I naturally started raising my standards, not because someone told me to, but more so because the life I wanted required it. And this is leadership. Leadership is saying the version of my life doesn't align with what I'm building anymore. And that's okay. Now, the third piece is the leader who makes decisions faster. And so what I have found is that the biggest gap between where people are and where they want to be is decisions, or more accurately, avoided decisions. Now, I've seen this often in business owners where we hold ourselves back because of our limiting beliefs. And we have more of an upper limit problem, as this concept is really well explained in the book called The Big Leap. But it explains how we subconsciously hold ourselves back when things start expanding. And so as I shared it with business owners, I've seen this where they hesitate or they wait, they overthink. And your dream life is built on the speed and quality of your decisions. Leaders decide. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't need certainty. They trust themselves enough to move and to take action. Now, the fourth piece is the leader who manages their energy. And this one changed everything for me. What I found is that most people try to manage their time, but the real shift happens when you start managing your energy, because you can have all the time in the world, but if you're burnt out, you're distracted or overwhelmed, you just won't use it well. And so leadership isn't just about doing more, it's about showing up better. This ties directly into fulfillment, because the dream life isn't just about what you build, it's about how you feel while building it. Now, the fifth piece here is the leader who builds systems. Now, this often comes when I found, that burnout doesn't come from the ambition. It comes from lack of structure. It's really challenging to scale chaos. It just doesn't happen. And this is where a lot of business owners get stuck. They want more clients, more revenue, more growth, but they don't have the systems to support it. And so leadership here looks like creating repeatable processes, building a business that doesn't rely on your constant energy, thinking like a CEO instead of an employee. And this is where growth starts to become more sustainable. Now, the sixth piece is the leader who chooses fulfillment. And this one matters more than people think. Because what I've seen is that a lot of people build businesses that look really good on paper, but they don't actually feel good to live. They chase revenue, but lose the freedom. They chase success, but lose themselves. And that's not the dream. Leadership is choosing fulfillment alongside growth. So it's asking, does the life I'm building actually feel like the life I want to live? Now, the next piece is the leader who thinks long-term. And what I found is that short-term thinking kills long-term dreams. We want these quick wins, we want fast results, we want immediate validation, but the dream life, that's built over time. And this is where I always come back to vision. Because when your vision is clear, you make better decisions, you stay consistent longer, you stop quitting when things get hard, where leadership is more long-term thinking. Now, if you want to go deeper into this, there's a few resources that I've shaped that's really helped shape how I think about leadership and growth. Atomic Habits, which I reference a lot because it dives into identity and habit formation. The Big Leap, which really goes deep into overcoming a lot of those internal limits. And then 10x is easier than 2x, thinking bigger and simplifying growth. Oftentimes on calls with clients, we think about trying to chase a few different goals at the same time. And I've just seen that if we really laser in on one and we go 10x, it is often easier than trying to do many at the same time. And beyond books, just start observing your own patterns. Where are you hesitating? Where are you playing small? Where are you maybe avoiding leadership in your own life? Because awareness is where this shift really begins. And bringing it back to the three core pillars I'm so passionate about with leadership, fulfillment, and growth is everything we talked about today always will come back to these three pillars. Who are we becoming in leadership? How your life feels, the fulfillment, and what you build and create and continuing that growth. And so what I found is that when those three align, that's when your dream life starts to actually take shape. So if this episode resonated with you and you're starting to see where you need to grow as a leader, feel free to check out the LFG Business Academy on Skool. It's completely free to join. And I'll leave you with this. Your dream life is not something you arrive at. It's something you grow into. And the version of you who lives that life leads differently, decides differently, shows up differently, and holds themselves to a higher standard for themselves and their life. And so I've found that when you become that leader, everything else starts to follow. So thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work. And as always, your dream life starts with the way that you lead, the way that you live, and the way that you grow. I'll see you next time on your Dream Coach podcast.